Hi, I'm Nigel.
And I'm Josh, and we're from Bumpstop Car Mods and Mentoring, and we're today's HALTECH Heroes.
Nigel and Josh, the good guys from Bumpstop Cars and Mentoring, have been mentoring kids for a while through Fusion Building and Maintenance, which is a social enterprise of Fusion Australia Limited, a not-for-profit Christian youth and community organisation. They wanted to take that mentoring experience and combine it with their love of cars to create a program which the kids would want to get out of bed and come to. They achieved this by creating the Bumpstop Car Mods and Mentoring program, a place where kids who have learning difficulties, behavioural problems or challenging life situations can get their hands dirty, learn some skills and share in their passion for building project cars. Not only do the guys teach the kids basic mechanical and hand skills, the program is designed to help teach the kids life skills. For example, time management, communication, work ethics and anger management.
We work pretty closely with the kids, so we only work with 2 kids on a particular day at a time. One of the biggest changes I've seen with the kids is communication. Talking to adults is something they're not normally good at, and we find by the end of their time with us, they can actually have a normal conversation with adults without giving attitude or feeling awkward. Why did we start a Corolla? Great question. I think the Corolla chose us, to be honest.
Oh, it took forever.
I was driving home, actually driving to work on a Monday morning after we'd had a really successful event with the kids from the previous build, and I was working out what car we we're going to do next, and I got a text message from a good mate of mine saying, "I've got a Corolla for you. It's got a MISSFIRE," hence the name. "It's yours if you want it." And yeah, I looked at it and went, what the heck are we going to do with a Corolla? So then I was looking online and I saw a Commodore that was up for sale for parts, and I thought, I wonder if we can put the Corolla and the Commodore together. And the rest is history. So I went and looked at the Corolla, and we found it was an AE94 Corolla, front-wheel drive, 5-speed manual with a 4A FE in it, 1.6, with all of, I think, 67 kilowatts. I initially wanted to put a Barrett in it, and the boys saw me with the tape measure, but it just wasn't going to fit. It's just too long. So the next feasible option was an LS.
So the first thing with the Toyota Corolla was to work out with no hoist, no nothing, no workshop expertise. We put it on its roof because that's how you get to everything underneath. We pulled everything underneath apart because we were going to make it rear-wheel drive, everything. And so pulled all of the underneath out of it, and then we got all the Commodore, pulled all that to bits, sorted everything out, and then worked out that we needed a bigger engine.
Yeah, it took us 6 months to make it all fit, basically, to get the shell ready to make the Commodore running gear fit. Yeah, and we did it on its roof and on our backs, but yeah, it all came together in the end. I think we were out 1 degree with the wheel alignment, 4-wheel wheel alignment when it was together.
And it's not a fast build because we're working along young guys that don't have the skills. So we're mentoring them at the same time. And 6 months, we had a lot of times where we were like, is this ever going to happen? Give up points. So it's worth mentioning that when you don't have a tree that grows money, we build things and we take time to make stuff ourselves. We scavenge parts, we go online, we ask for donations, people donate things to us because they like what we do with young people. The budget is very skimpy.
So we did everything on the Corolla ourselves. I think the only thing that we had fabricated was the roll cage, but then we bolted it in. So everything from, mechanical through to paint, we did with the kids because we had to watch the funds because there isn't a multitude of those.
As the guys said, the Corolla is now powered by a roaring V8 LS1 engine, fitted with Crocam valve springs and Mace Engineering high-ratio rockers. To get the engine to fit, the firewall has been recessed 200mm. Fueling is taken care of by a tank return system with a 67 litre fuel cell in the back, a 2 litre Raceworks surge tank, a Bosch 044 primer pump and a ProFlow 360 litre primary inline pump. This thirsty boy also has 440cc Bosch injectors on high flow rails and a Raceworks pressure regulator. The car is currently running 98 petrol, but the team hopes to step up to ethanol in the not too distant future.
We cut out the firewall, we put the K-frame in underneath, made the tunnel down the middle, and put the frame in at the back, so we made it rear-wheel drive. It was just, everything kept working. We kept making it fit.
So of course, having an LS, it meant it wasn't an east-west motor anymore. It was a north-south motor, which means rear-wheel drive. So we put the entire running gear out of the VYSS Commodore underneath the Corolla. It's got the 4L60E transmission in it, to be updated later. And it's got the suspension cradle from the rear suspension cradle from the VY in it.
The only thing we modified was the suspension, made up all these modifications so that it worked.
Yeah, we got special cross members and yeah, lots of fabrication, but essentially short wheelbase Commodore. So the side exhausts are actually a bit of a giveaway as to what's going on with the car. When we turn up at events, you see people going, what's going on here? It's got side exhaust, but the real reason it's got side exhaust is because I wanted to hide the bracketry from the Commodore rear end. And there wasn't a tidier way of doing it than running side exhaust. But what it also does is it gives it that old school pulsed V8 sort of sound, which is really unique, especially with the short exhausts. So it doesn't sound like every Commodore LS out there. It has its own individual sound, which is important. I like that. We like to be different.
While shooting our HALTECH Heroes video, we couldn't resist the opportunity to throw the Corolla on our dyno and hear those side pipes do their thing. Result? 233 kilowatts worth of good times.
What would I have done differently if we did it all over again? I'd do the rear end differently. We've got the Commodore rear end in it with custom coilover setups, and it causes issues with scrubbing and even tying it down to a dyno is a pain in the neck. I would have put a solid rear end in it. And probably the other thing would be a manual, because it would be an awesome drift car with a manual in it. Not so much as good for drags, but it'd be a very exciting car with a manual.
While they might have liked to change those mechanical things, Josh and Nigel wouldn't change the great experiences they had with the kids along the way for anything in the world.
So it took us 12 months to finish the Corolla till our first drive. Then we went to a dirt motorcarna with the kids.
Yep, because you can't drive a car on the road, but you can drive this one in a motorcarna event. Dan, oh man, he was just grinning from ear to ear, and he got to drive, and he'd never driven a car before. Yeah. And it was a controlled motorsport environment with a car club. But yeah, he drove for the first time, and he had his mum and his dad there and his sister. They both came out, yep.
And they were cheering him on, and the guys from the club were cheering him on, and yeah, we had scrubbing guards and things that needed to be fixed, but man. So interior-wise, we have the standard Corolla dash here. We've got a big red button for when the kids are driving, so I can kill the ignition at a moment's notice. One of the cool things was we've got the instrument cluster out of the VYSS in here. So it's got V8 written on there, which is pretty cool. All the buttons and switches out of the Commodore are also in here. We start it with the key from the Commodore. We have our HALTECH Elite 950 down here, our quick shifter. One thing you will notice is for a race car, they don't normally have 2 seats. But we have 2 seats because we take kids for a ride and they get to drive and we get to sit in the passenger seat. So it's pretty much a budget drag car.
So before the Motorcana event, we actually needed to dyno the thing to see what it was going to do.
Yeah, so we took it down to Custom Bugs and Buses at Penrith, and Mike put it on the dyno, and he shut it down like halfway through the first run because it was running way too lean. Like it was running lean enough to melt pistons, and at the time it was running the factory ECU, which came out of the Commodore. And we're at that point at the end of our budget, like we were like, what are we going to do? It was quite a heart-wrenching time actually. And that's when Mike actually made the call to HALTECH for us, and we were absolutely blown away when HALTECH gave us an Elite 950 and dual wideband for the Corolla. Like it wouldn't be running and doing what we want it to now without HALTECH. So thank you, HALTECH. Appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. And that means it's now tunable to do what the other things we want to do.
10-second car right there.
We watch too much movies, I think, but we told the kids we'd build a 10-second Corolla with them, and so far our ET's 13.1 smoking tyres in first and second. The hardest part about this build was doing the fabrication to get all the running gear in. We had it on its roof in the corner of the workshop, and it just felt like it went on forever. And I don't know how many times I said to Nigel and the team, why did we start this? Yeah, there were some really hard times there.
Yeah, and the hard thing for me, trying to manage your own, man, I don't know if we can do this, and then trying to work alongside a young person who doesn't want to do it either. But how do you then motivate yourself and them at the same time, look at little challenges and achievements, and that was the hardest bit for me.
If you're thinking about doing a build like this yourself, you know, it's just start. It's just parts, just one thing after another, you know. Don't be scared of it. It doesn't matter if you're working on a standard Corolla in your shed and you're hanging out with mates and you're just, you know, putting a pod filter on. It doesn't matter. Get out there and do it and start to build your confidence and learn as you go. That's what it's about. It's about learning.
I encourage you to ask questions. Find someone, keep asking questions. I was not someone to ask, but now doesn't matter too much. I'll go and ask someone. Go and find things. Go and look it up on YouTube. Go and talk to your neighbour who fixes cars and go, hey, can you help me out with this? Go and try it out.
The main thing is not to give up. You know, if you give up and you don't finish your dream, you're never going to have the satisfaction of starting the car for the first time or taking it for its first drive. You know, even when it's hard, don't give up. That's my encouragement. Do not give up, and that's for life as well. But on a car build, there'll be plenty of hard times, but push through and you'll get that satisfying moment of that first turn of the key. Nothing beats it. We're based in Hawkesbury, New South Wales, and we service kids from the Hawkesbury and Penrith area. So if you're a young person who's interested in cars and thinks that the program might be something for you, talk to your school counsellors or year advisors and let them know about the Bumpstop Car Mods and Mentoring Program, which is run by Fusion Australia. We'd also like to encourage workshops and other businesses everywhere to mentor kids.
Yep, just take on young people that might not be going so good, that you've got skills that you can share with them. Next time you're servicing your car, get them over and say, hey, can you help me out?
And if you've got any questions, anybody out there about the program, just jump on our Facebook page, Bumpstop Car Mods and Mentoring, send us a message and you know, we'll respond as soon as we can.